Thank you for tuning in to Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid. In Season 2 of Hacks and Hobbies, we're visited by our amazing guests coming from all walks of life who want to learn their story, their struggles, and their journey on how they got to where they are today. So stick around. In this episode, we get to speak with Amanda Parker. She is a business owner, an abstract artist, and she has a crazy passion for composition, photography, game design, coding, lighting, UI, UX, video editing, storyboarding. It's almost like I'm reading about myself. So I got to connect with her by following her artwork on Insta. And I was just blown away by the level of creativity that went into her drawings. And I was like, Amanda, I'm really loving what you're doing. Would you be interested in coming onto my podcast, Hacks and Hobbies? And she said, yes, I would love to. So Amanda, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
Fantastic. So I see that, while you were attending the Art Institute, you learned a lot of skills. But what really got you into the arts?
So when I was about 12, I did my first perfect realism drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I had an excellent art teacher in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I would take like all of her classes, 3 hours a day. I would take the yearbook class just to be in her class. And she set up an advanced art room in the back for us. So she really nurtured all of me and like fellow artists' skills. So that really got me into art. And then when I went to college, I really learned a lot more about, and she really kind of put us at a college level. So when I went to college, it was like really easy to get in, and I was very overly prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned so much about, game design at that point, and lighting and perspective, things that she hadn't gone over yet, because she kind of gave us free reign in the art world. So I experienced a lot of different techniques and materials. I worked with oil painting, acrylic painting, watercolor. She let us do everything. We even would pick up album covers and draw those sometimes. So that really got me into art, but I didn't believe that artists could make money until I was older. So I was a waitress for a long time. And then I did some other jobs in the healthcare industry, but I started really nurturing. I started painting and I sold some things, and I was like, okay, maybe I can do this full time, So that's how it kind of went for me. And then I really got into abstract work. I kind of evolved into that later. I used to think that abstract was not as skillful as realism, because realism is just, where it took so much to make realism look perfect.
Yeah.
But then I realized abstract is actually the harder work, because making an abstract work interesting is very difficult.
That's really cool. It's all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it.
And now I give the full-time like art lessons. I've actually only got two private students now, but one's an abstract artist, and she just recently sold her first work. I'm very proud of her.
Cool.
And the other artist is a realism artist. So it's two very different things to be teaching, but it's really fun to watch them learn in advance.
Wow. So these artist students, these private art students, are they drawing on paper, on canvas?
They're both painters.
Okay.
So they're both working with acrylic paint, and oil is a little bit more complex. I love to use every kind. I love oil paint. I love acrylic paint, watercolor, everything. But they were both brand new painters when I met them. One of them has a little bit of a background in drawing. That's why she can do the realism. But the other girl literally had never picked up a paintbrush in her life, which has been very interesting. And she's the one that sold a painting recently and shipped it all the way to California. I'm so proud.
That is really cool. Wow. So there's different types of inks or paints that you can use to paint. That's really...
Yeah. Yeah, and you really have to stick with one or the other, so they don't really mix well.
So they don't mix well, but you can use one type of paint for one painting and do a different painting on it with a different paint.
Yeah, the difference really is like oil painting requires a lot of um, extra kind of effort because you have to clean the brushes differently because you can't just wash it off with water because it's oil. And you have to, the additives that you have to use to get a perfectly layered painting is really important. So you have to have a bunch of different oils that are like clear oils. And then you also have to go through a curing process, which can actually take up to 6 months. You have to layer thick paint over thin paint. So it's a little bit more complex. With
Yeah.
acrylic paint, you can just if you screw something up, you can just put some paint over it and it's dry within 20 minutes,
Oh,
so
wow.
you can layer
Okay.
it quickly. But if you do that with oil paint, it'll crack. So you really have to be careful.
It'll crack because it's become part of the canvas.
Yeah, it goes through a curing process. So typically your curing process should only take about a week at most, for the paint to dry. But if you put thick paint underneath thin paint, then you'll get that cracking from that thin paint on top because that thicker paint is still trying to dry.
Oh, that makes sense. It's just like your normal ground when you have so much water coming through, and as the water evaporates, you'll see your ground
Exactly.
cracking.
Yeah, exactly like that.
That's really cool.
It's a good
I'm just thinking
analogy.
about paint now.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So what motivated you to be an artist? What really brought you into that world? I mean, you said you started when you were 12 years old, but did you have any inclination towards this before this, or?
I think that, when I was a kid, just drawing like Disney cartoons and things like that, I knew that I liked art. And when I was really, really young, I started collecting art supplies kind of. I always loved crayons and all the different colors. Um, Even though now the majority of my work is actually black and white. I love black. Just
Yeah.
it's very pretty. But the the just the variety of things that you could use always just kind of made me interested in it. And I don't think that I'm like a completely creative. I don't think that, like, how some people, they're basically all creativity and no math, no science. They're all art. I
Yeah.
don't think I'm like that person. I'm more of like an in between, half and half. Like I can see the art, I can see anything and draw it verbatim, but I also have this kind of like business side to me, or entrepreneur deep inside. So
Nice.
even though, but at the same time, like art really always has been just an interest in general to me. And even now, like one of the things that I do is teach students in Nigeria
Oh, wow.
who I've met through Facebook. I have one student that I've been teaching for a couple of years, and then and he's in his like 20s. So, but it's hard there because they don't have the same opportunities that we have here as far
Yeah,
as
that's
an
true.
education and things like that. So, um, I've just made him like videos on YouTube, and then he just goes back and I correct his work kind of live in a video and then show it to him.
That's really cool.
And he's awesome at realism. He's doing a perfect job on realism. So
That's really cool.
yeah, so I like doing things like that too, just kind of like giving back to people and
Yeah.
using kind of that business side a little bit too, just by running my own business and not kind of working for anyone, even though I wouldn't mind being like an art director. I think I'm just kind of a natural leader.
Yeah.
But anyway.
No, that's really cool. So I was thinking about there's this one guy I follow on Twitter, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Probably heard him. He's an actor as well. But he started this company, this website with his brother called hitrecord.org. And is it hitrecord.com? Can't remember. But hit record is all about, just hit the record button and just start shooting. So they were into film and they wanted to shoot some stuff. So they're like, well, let's create this community where I'm a good, like, for example, you're a great illustrator. or you've got real talent in that area, but then somebody has written a really nice piece that could go with an art that you could draw. So there's a lot of there's a ton of collaboration going on over there. They've been around for a few years now, and I recently started following, or I've been following Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Joe, but recently I have the bell icon on, so every time he has a tweet, I get a message, and he's constantly, sending, go check out this project. Do you have a black and white photo on your phone? Go here and post it here. So there's a ton of collaboration, and what people will do is people will post up audio voiceovers. They'll put up images, photos, something somebody has drawn, and music, and then somebody will basically take all of those together and make a short film. It's
Awesome.
really, really cool.
I'll
So there's it.
definitely check that out. That
Yeah,
sounds right up my alley.
yeah, it is. And there was this one post that he had posted recently where he's like, somebody had posted this an image of a robot, and another person posted an image of a illustration of a little tweet bird or a bird. So this one dude, he goes on the side of a wall, he paints both of those images together, and the third person basically films the whole thing. And now it's like a little short video with music attached to it, and all came out of this community.
Oh, that's such a great idea. I
It's
love it.
really cool. It's really cool. So
I love stuff like that.
I tell people about, go check this out. And if you don't have story ideas, because a lot of time, like a videographer myself, I don't have story ideas, but I love to shoot. So I go there and I say, okay, let's see what I can find. If there's a script, if there's a short thing that I can shoot around, and they have these challenges going on as well. It's really cool. It's really neat.
Awesome. I'll be checking that out right after this.
Yeah.
I did. I met some people on Instagram in the past, and one was a photographer, and he knew a model. So I don't know if you've seen this on my Instagram, but we collaborated, and the girl, we did like a 3-hour session, a photography shoot, all on like Skype, and I later took her images and inked over them. So it's like she's kind of like moving her hands through the ink and things like that. It looks really cool. It's a different type of thing, but the collaboration is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's very, very important. And without collaboration, we'd just be sitting doing nothing, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. It definitely makes a lot more, like you said, that's so cool with like the robot, the bird, and then, putting in a little animation music. That's such a great idea, stuff like that. So I
really
think some
fun.
people could definitely play with my art.
Yeah. So a lot of your art, it looks like it could be expanded and have multiple, like some of the things are like on one canvas, but looks like you can expand it and have it on multiple canvases. And one thing that I keep thinking about is, I have this empty space in my living room, and it's this really wide wall, and I don't want to put like a random photo there or random painting, because a lot of the times the painting is 4x3, or they have specific sizes. I want it super wide, and I just haven't found that. I keep looking and looking, but a lot of your artwork, it expands multiple artboards, and I was like, what if I could take 4 of them and put them all together in such a way that from far away you could see this image, but then it also fills out the wall nicely. I
Yeah,
keep thinking of different ways of putting something on that space.
In my husband's office in DC, he's got just like a plethora of my inks on his walls, and he just kind of arranged them in a different way that maybe a frame like up a little bit, and then the other next one down a little bit, and then the next one in the middle or something, and it just looks awesome. It's like a really cool way to do it. But there's so many different ways that you can frame things. And for that, my other friend, he takes photos. You know, he travels the world a lot, so he takes photos and he just puts them behind glass, so
Mm-hmm.
there's no frame around it.
Yeah.
So all you can see is like, so there's just no edge, and
Just no
that's
idea.
like a really easy way to put it on the wall, and also a lot less expensive way to
Yeah,
just put them on your wall and make it look really cool.
exactly. There's even this site I think I ran into where they'll print your photos on top of glass.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
But I was like looking at it and I was like, okay, this sounds pretty cool. So we'll have to collaborate with my wife and figure out what we want to put over there.
Right.
Because again,
See
living
what
room
she
is a
likes.
space, yeah, what she likes. Because living room is a space it's like, okay, if big companies coming, then it's reserved for like adults and uncles and parents. But anytime like my friends and they come over, we're hanging out in the family room or in the backyard
Right.
or in my workshop. Awesome. Well, we talked about a lot of cool things and into illustration, and we talked about your motivation, your journey, how we came here. Is there something, I'm just blanking right now. So
um
you like video editing.
mhm.
That's something that we're always looking at video editors, and when myself, Diana, and Chris, we met yesterday, we're like, we need an editor. We need somebody who can edit our videos. Because Chris was like, yeah, I have 8 terabytes of footage that I've shot.
Right. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And I was like, I have like a few terabytes myself just sitting around, all this random videos that I shot. But you really need a story um, to go along those videos. And I keep looking through all of my content. I was like, this is really cool. How would I combine it and put it together?
Yeah, it sounds like you need almost like a storyboard
Yes.
of this, or not even like a full-fledged storyboard. It could even be just something quick and sketchy,
Yeah.
just to show, you know, and you could even make that with the video that you have, kind of almost like a trailer.
True
Um,
that.
but yeah, it's definitely something I like to do is edit a little bit. I use like the Adobe suite. Are
Mm-hmm.
you? I don't know if you use that, but I have the
Yep.
Adobe Creative Cloud,
Yeah.
and I
Adobe Suite.
love Premiere, and
Mm.
then there's like After Effects, and you can do so much with it.
Oh yeah.
Make it look really professional. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, I like
No,
doing
you're
that.
right. You're totally right. I just gotta storyboard it out and basically come up with a story that would use the videos that I've shot.
Right. Yeah,
Mm.
and that
Takes a
takes
lot of mind power.
yeah, it takes yeah, exactly. You have to put the brain power into it to make it happen, and
Yeah.
that's um, kind of I feel like sometimes I get focused on one area,
Mm-hmm.
and then like I'll do a video for a while, and then it'll just sit on my computer, and I'll just be letting it kind of, I don't know, manifest into something.
Yeah.
And then eventually I'll go back to it and edit the video and finally put it out there. I've got
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 videos that I could put out there at any
Mm-hmm.
point. It's just I think about all those details and like what,
Yeah.
and that's the important thing too. Like
It
how
is.
do you create that story, and how do you make it good enough that people actually want to watch it?
Exactly.
And what do you want it to be about? And if you start making this one story, then what's your next story going to be? Are you going to be like an inspirational type person? Are you going to be are you just going to tell a drama? Are you going
Yeah.
to make a comedy? And you have to kind of think about all that with
Yeah.
even your first production. And I think it can change over time. It can evolve. You don't have to get too pigeonholed into one
Yeah.
area.
You don't have to.
Um,
And
and it's good to stay open, I think.
yeah, I think that's where I'm stuck at myself because I have so many different areas of interest and I keep coming along and I'm like, okay, I keep sitting with a pencil and a paper and I write stuff down and like, okay, this makes sense. What's the next thing? And it's like squirrel effect,
Yeah.
I go look at that squirrel.
Right.
But yeah, it definitely, you definitely need a quiet space so you can let your mind wander and um, then refocus. So then you can, and I think it helps when you talk to other people who have gone through the process. It definitely helps.
Yeah, have you heard of okay, two things. Have you heard of
Mhm.
90-day year? Have you heard of that
I have not.
strategy?
No.
Well, the idea behind that is you have 4 90-day increments in a year. So if you just focus on one thing, whether it's building your YouTube channel, making a short film, for me, it might be making several paintings or
Hmm.
something. Um, just see what you can do for 90 days and then see how you feel after those 90 days if you want to
Mm,
change it for the next 90 days, but literally focus on one thing like
just
hardcore.
one thing.
I think that's like a really good strategy, even though I don't personally implement it in my life. I wish I did. I like I think about it and but I'm just like you. I have such a wide variety of interests. I kind of
Yeah.
get bored doing the same thing. And I think a lot of that is just kind of our modern technology and our modern society
Yeah.
where we're at now. So we all kind of like to do different things.
Absolutely.
Um, but I have
But
another friend.
mhm,
His name is Cody Ray Lucero on Instagram, and I've
mhm.
watched him over the past couple years, and he has just focused on being a rap artist. And
Yeah.
now he's got like over 10,000 fans.
Nice.
He's got over 1 million listens on Spotify. He has
That's
tons of songs that he just keeps working on it hard,
mhm.
and now he's doing shows and he's really like I don't know, his big thing is like just focus on one thing. And I would talk to him about, he would say, well, I kind of want to be maybe like a music producer. I don't know.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But at the same time, he's still hitting it hard on the one thing that he wants to do. And he has grown his audience, tenfold over these past 2 years. I mean, he started just where I did. I only have like 800 followers on Instagram, but I don't really post that much and I don't have that
Yeah.
consistent addiction like he does. And it
Mhm.
really does show what focus can do for you.
No, absolutely. There's a book called The One Thing. I don't know if you've heard of it.
I might have heard of that, but you'll have to
And
tell me.
so this is by The One Thing. He basically talks about how you should just focus on one thing. Sometimes it's only the thing you do, but it's only the one thing that delivers extraordinary results. It's who's the author on this book? What is the guy? Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. They're the two authors for this book, and they have a 66-day challenge. And you basically focus on one thing for 66 days, and then that becomes your hobby or your habit, not hobby. The hobby then becomes a habit. So again, workflows and then focusing on that one thing, just like you said, 90-day year, you're focusing on one thing only. You're able to get more out of it because now people see you that you're the expert in that specific area.
Right.
And just like you, I think you focused pretty well on your um, ink addict from
Mm,
the future ability on Instagram because that's the main thing everybody gets from you that you've got really. So you've got that focus down already.
right.
And what's really cool is as you get that habit down, now you can add one more thing to this habit.
Hmm.
It's like you're already brushing your teeth every day, twice a day. Just add a habit to, floss your teeth, maybe at nighttime or before you go to bed. Instead of checking your phone, read 5 pages from a book, put it, put it at your nightstand, and go to sleep. So now you're building habits in attached with something that you already do by default. So that's the one thing that he talks about in the book, and it's really cool. And I think it falls in line with the 90-day year.
Yeah. Yeah. It really just it shows how important it is to focus. And
Yeah.
I think if we could all find more of that focus, and like we
Exactly.
were saying, or like I was saying earlier, just that in a modern world, excuse me, I need to cough.
Okay.
um, in a modern world, it's difficult to maintain that focus, and if you
It
can
is.
do that,
Yeah.
you just have one up in the game of life, so.
Yeah. I think mainly it's a squirrel effect that we all have. It's like, oh, let me go see what he's doing
Right, shiny
because I'm
object.
getting bored. Yeah, the shiny object effect,
Yeah.
right? And so Pat Flynn of Smart Passive Income says, um, the riches are in the niches, meaning when you niche down and you just focus on the one thing that you're great at, you can build that audience. Just like your friend, he's like, I'm just going to focus on rap and nothing else.
Right.
He
And since
built
he
that
has that
audience.
side dream of being a
Yeah.
producer,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I feel like that will definitely be something that he gets out of his life in the future.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
really cool. I'll have to check
Another
out.
thing.
Mhm.
Oh, one more thing. Jake Parker, he does Inktober every year, and I read his website, and he said if you're an artist, and this is one of the best things, one of the best tips I could even give an artist as well,
Mhm.
which is turn your um, projects into products.
Mhm.
So, I'm doing Inktober. I've done that for the past 2 years.
Mhm.
But, if I can turn that into a coloring book, then I'll be better off,
Oh
because then I
yeah.
can make money off of, what I've done. And I've made a coloring book before. So this would just be another coloring book. And it would also fulfill my interest in doing the Inktober, which, if you don't
Absolutely.
know what Inktober is,
Yeah,
it's
I've heard
31
of.
days of
Yeah, I've heard.
inking. Yeah.
Sorry. Yes, I've heard of the term Inktober. In fact, there is a connection of mine on LinkedIn. He did the Inktober, and he's done some amazing illustration. I was like, wow, dude, those are amazing, amazing illustrations. I can't remember his name, but when I do find him, I will let you know his name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's become such a movement. And for Jake Parker, that's, he's kind of the go-to now for Inktober. He does the annual prompt list, and he, inspires so many people. So that's really cool.
That's really cool.
That's something I don't know if um, you wanted to talk about, but who inspires me
Yeah,
or who
absolutely.
inspires.
Who's your inspiration?
Yeah, so there's a guy on YouTube. His name is Peter Draws, and he does ink drawings, and he just does kind of like nilly-willy ink drawings, and he's been doing it for years, and he's done some glow ink episodes, and he makes videos, and he's added songs to his little videos now, and he just talks over the top of it about, whatever he feels like talking about.
Yeah.
But he's very encouraging to other artists. And I wasn't really doing much with ink until I saw his YouTube videos, and then I was
Yeah.
like, I'm actually interested in picking up ink again, because I've always thought it was a really interesting medium to work with.
Mm-hmm.
And literally since 2017, I've been inking because of that guy. So
Wow.
just little props to Peter Draws there.
Holy smokes. He's
His
got
real
some
name.
really amazing things.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really cool. He's really developed his style over the years, and he kind of goes through like a period of time where he's sticking with kind of one thing. Right now he's doing more straight line projects, and he used to do he would never really do many straight lines. So it's cool. And sometimes he does these little dioramas where he draws lines out from his artwork, and he writes what it is, and he'll make just really funny statements about what's in the art. So um, but he's really cool. Definitely one to check out. And also uh, Draw with Jazza, I think it's called, something like that. He's got like 4 million plus followers
Wow.
on YouTube. Yeah, and he just kind of he does characters all day, like cartoon characters, and he's really
Wow.
good at it. I watched one of his videos where he tried to draw realism again, and he was like, "This is so bad," He was like just drawing this little pencil sharpener, and he was like, "Oh man, I just haven't done realism in so long." And it's funny
Yeah.
because his characters are like realistic characters. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how everyone kind of goes down their own path, but you do start with realism, no matter who you are as an artist.
Yeah.
If you master realism, kind of you gain that respect from everyone. It's like if you go far enough back on my Instagram page,
Mm-hmm.
you can see some realism from
Nice.
me too, but you have to go all the way back to the beginning.
Well, it's okay. I'm on the computer, so I can go all the way. Scroll down really fast.
Oh, okay.
Nice. That's really cool. So you've probably heard of Adam Scott through Dilbert Comics,
Oh, okay, yeah.
right? So he loved to draw also, and he's got a really cool book and where he talks about, his little journey on how he, grew his company, or he got back into comics.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, he was working for the man. He was, working for somebody else at a bank. And he was like, every time I try to quit, I would get a promotion.
That's funny. That's a good thing.
It's a good thing, right? So he's like, okay. And then the one time that he did quit his job, he found another job much better. And right after he quit, like a month later, that company went under.
Oh, wow.
So like he avoided all these calamities for just one reason or another. Anyhow, he talks about how he got into drawing Dilbert, and he's like, I'm just gonna draw what happens in corporate culture, because he spent years and years in corporate culture. He was able to pull that and start drawing this comics, and I was really fascinated by that. And then I think I picked up this one book that teaches you how to draw characters or how to draw comics, and the level of details you need to have versus when it's too much detail, because you're only fitting in it in a 2x3 inch area. So how much
Yeah.
detail you need to provide versus so that was really cool. But yeah.
Yeah. That is a good point, using what you've learned in your life or whatever you can take from real life
Yeah.
and put it into your work. I do that
Yeah.
with with improv, which I do on the side.
Mm.
It's a lot about just taking who you already are as a person
Yeah.
and emphasizing that.
That's really cool.
Same thing. One of the artists I met when I went to 3 colleges. I didn't mention that, but I when I was really young, I went to a college in my hometown, and I saw this guy. His name is Rick Herder, I think, or something like that. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
But I know his first name's Rick.
Okay.
But when 9/11 happened, they gave him, he was a guy who drew airplanes, and he did it perfectly. And they found him, the government found him and paid him a hefty sum of money to put a couple of paintings in the Pentagon that showed the 9/11 attacks.
Oh, wow.
And so he got all the confidential files and things like that, confidential photos from those days. And he was able to put them together to draw a completely accurate photo of basically New York City, the layout at the time. And then, or it was a huge painting, not just a drawing.
Yeah.
But one of the things he said for these realistic artists, draw for the 1% of people that will critique you, not for the 99% of people that'll tell you great job.
Exactly.
And I think that's a really important thing to remember too.
Very important. Yeah, you're not drawing it for everyone. You want to, and that shows you the niching down, right? Niche down as much as you can, because
yes,
you're focusing on that one person that's going to tell you, honestly, what's wrong with your stuff,
right,
and help you get better, rather than everybody's like, "Oh, great job, you can do this. You're a superhero, superstar."
right. You're amazing. I can't believe what you've done. And it's like, and for the artist, you get tired of hearing things like that. You just want someone to give you an honest critique. It's like, I can only hear that for so long. Like, just tell me what I'm doing that I could do better, or what you would like to see. And sometimes it takes someone to actually get angry with you and tell you off. And they say, well, your art looks all the same anyway. Everything looks exactly the same. And I don't like it anymore. And I was like, okay, thank you. I needed that. So
That's so true, because we all need criticism, even though as much as we don't want it, but we need it.
yeah, it can be hard to take sometimes. I remember one time in college where I've always been good at taking criticism, again, because of my art teacher when I was in high school.
Yeah.
She made us all stand up, put up our drawings, and critique each other. And in high school, everyone is ruthless. So they'll tell you the truth about what they think. So I got hard skin early on from that. But then when I went to college, we had done these self-portraits, and I had taken these really accurate measurements. And my teacher was like, this isn't correct, the proportion. There's no way it could be this way.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, it is. and I was like, I was so stubborn at that time to see that my teacher was actually right about that.
Uh-huh.
And it's not healthy to be that way. I think that was the last time I took a bad critique or a good critique, and I thought it was bad for me.
Oh.
But it's really, I think it's like it's a learning curve to accept the criticism and just get over it. Another thing you have to do is learn to get rid of your artwork. A lot of people, they start painting. I've got one of my students. She's painting these realistic paintings, and she said, Amanda, I really don't want to part with this one. It's my first time drawing a human, and I've done it so well, and I don't want to give it up. And I thought, your house can only, for one thing, your house can only have so many paintings, and she's filling up her walls now. And not only that, when I was younger, I used to feel the same way. So I had all of my artwork from high school, like 4 years of work, laying on my bed, because I had just had my graduation party, and there was a leak in my ceiling that night. So all of my artwork was kind of ruined from high school, and that really taught me in that moment. It took me years to realize. I actually stopped working on art for about 6 years after that. I was so depressed.
Yeah.
And I cried for 2 days straight, because it was all of my work that I had ever done, and it was gone. And that made me realize, though, you just got to get rid of this stuff. Your art is there to share with the world. It's not for you to just hoard and keep in your house.
Exactly.
You really got to find a way to part with it. And I think that's important for artists to know as well.
No, that's what Marie Kondo is teaching us, right?
Who?
Marie Kondo. She's all about decluttering.
Oh, really? I like that.
She's got a show on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
All about decluttering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's really
I should
neat.
check that out. Because
she's like, you need to make 3 piles. 1 pile for things that really move you, 1 pile that doesn't do anything for you, and then that way you can eliminate all the junk in your house and live a much peaceful life. Because essentially all these things that are in our home, and I'm looking around my office, it's a burden on your head.
It is. That is such a good point. I actually, my husband and I were thinking about moving to a bigger space, a 2-bedroom apartment instead of a 1-bedroom. And it's just the two of us. We don't necessarily need that much more space. I was thinking I needed an office and whatever, but we have a pretty big 1-bedroom apartment, and I have 2 art spaces in this apartment, one in my bedroom and then one in the kind of what would be the dining area.
Yeah.
And it's really plenty of space. So we just decided to paint our walls and kind of give it a facelift. We got new appliances from from the people we rent from, which is great. But we got rid of, I kid you not, maybe 500 pounds of stuff out of our apartment in the last few months. We've just been slowly working on it. And our living room used to have a bookshelf, like this Martha Stewart bin with 9 shelves on it, and then a whole shelving unit for our shoes when we walked in and things like that. And we also collect fine minerals. And so the minerals are kind of they're in glass cases, so you can see a lot of different things going on in there at once. So we took out everything. We took out everything except for the minerals,
Yeah.
and we painted our wall a dark color, and now there's nothing. It's like nothing distracting from my work day anymore.
Nice.
And I had no idea the impact of all that stuff and what it was
Mhm.
really doing to my mind
Yeah.
and how much it was distracting me from what's important. So now
Yeah.
it's like everything is focused on my art. And
That's really powerful, because every time I come to my office in my basement, I'm
Mhm.
looking around and there's piles of paper that I need to go through. There's clothes that need to be posted online. There's shelves, which are full of stuff and they are not arranged. And I'm like, I just need to focus on what I need to do right now. And then I'm going to leave this room. And I go to my workshop and there's things everywhere. There's like 10
Yeah.
different projects that are waiting to be finished. And I'm like, I need to get this under control, because if I die tomorrow, all of this is trash.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So,
Right. All the unfinished projects,
yes,
all the books we wrote in our head, all the movies we
exactly.
filmed in our mind.
Exactly.
They're all
So
just,
true.
they go with us. So it's important to just get out there
Yeah.
and do all that. And also, yeah, just like you said, it's all, I never really thought about it that way, but it is just garbage if you're,
Yeah.
if you were to die
Because
tomorrow.
exactly. Um, there's there's a book I recently read by this awesome gentleman. Um, Todd Henry. He writes a book called Die Empty: Unleash Your Best Work Every Day. And he says, so he started with the question. He's like, what's the most expensive land in the world? And people start naming all these, Manhattan, Paris, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, it's the graveyards, because all the people that died that didn't envision their plans, right? And on the last day
Mm-hmm.
of your, before you die, you're not going to be like, oh, I wish I spent one more day at work. No, you would say, I wish I had shot that film. I wish I had written that book, and do that thing that's really in your head.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah, if
right
you
on the
just
money.
do all those things that come to you as
Yeah,
they happen, then
exactly.
it won't become like a snowball of items you haven't done, a huge list of
Yeah.
things you haven't done. It'll just become the one thing or the many things that you have done. So yeah,
Yes.
it's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't know about you, but for me, it's like I'm not forced to do anything. I can run my own business. I can make money or I can not make money. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter too much because my husband provides a lot for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's inner commitment that I need and inner
Yeah.
motivation and things like that.
Yeah.
But
It takes a lot of
motivation,
effort.
not real.
Yeah.
You have to just force yourself to do things.
Yes, exactly. It takes a lot of effort. I spoke with this gentleman today, Tyler Christensen, and he's a teacher, author, and he's in his journey. He talks about how he was just a student, and he was talking to. I mean, he's a teacher, and he's talking to his students about the importance of blogging. And then so the kids, one of the kids asked, like, "Do you have a blog?" And he's like, "Well, I used to write." And he hadn't written in a while, so he really loved football, so he started writing a blog on football. And so he's able to grow each of his little blogs into something substantial, and then move on to the next one. So I was like, that's a really cool idea. And when I visited his website, and I was like, he's got all these things that he does. He looks just like me, based on what he's doing with his mind. I need to do something. So my website looks like this, and I have some place that I can send people, go check this guy out. Because right now, if you just go to my website, superjanae.com, it's just blog posts about random things. There's no introduction. You don't know who you're talking to.
Hmm.
So I think I need to revamp and do that for myself as well.
Yeah, I feel like I keep even like for the website, I'll do like even 70% of it, and then I'll lose focus on it.
Yes.
And then it's like, I just want someone to do this for me. Just
Yeah.
sell all my art for me, because I don't like the sales aspect of things, and I don't like the website building as much anymore. I'll build websites.
Yeah.
Sometimes a friend will ask me to do a side project and help them with their website, build a blog, whatever they
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
But it's
It's easier
like,
when you do it for somebody else
yeah,
because you're not attached to it.
exactly. Yeah, that's
That's the
that's
problem.
definitely where I'm at. And
Yep.
that's why it's good also to get side projects, because, working for others is a lot easier, even if you
Yes.
just met them or whatever.
Yeah, it is a lot easier. All right. We've talked about a lot of amazing things. We've gone into your mind and pulled some really awesome stuff out. It's really passionate, lots of learning experiences. Let's ask some of the questions that I ask my guests.
Okay.
What is one hobby that you wish you got into?
Oh, so the main thing is stand-up comedy. I always wanted to be a stand-up comedian, but and I do improv now. I've been doing it like 1.5 years.
Nice.
And you can see me do the improv. I do like maybe 4 shows a month now, but I still haven't gained the stamina, the strength to go
Mhm.
out and do the stand up. So I think, unfortunately, I've been letting fear guide my life a little bit in that
Yeah.
regard. But hopefully, I'll be doing that in the next 6 months. I've talked to a couple other girls, and we're all going to go to an open mic together, so it's not as hard. And we're going
Mhm.
to take our first shot at it. So that's, for me, that's definitely the one thing, that the final frontier for me that I haven't done. So
Nice. I like it. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian for a while as well, and it's been pretty fun. It's been pretty fun so far. I got into the video area, video production and whatnot, but it's been not the comedy part yet. Not there yet.
yeah, see, that's what I think. Like, maybe I could implement the comedy a little bit more into my art videos. I know in a
Yeah.
couple of them, I did put a little comedy in there, like just like subtle humor. And people who actually listened to it watched the whole video.
Yeah.
Uh, when they caught that part, they were like, "Oh, that's really funny. That's good." It's like I just need to actually maybe go for it and make a funny video. Like
Exactly.
just actually focus on that, because
Yeah.
that would be fun to do. And now I've got this full time group. We practice every Sunday, and then we do the shows. So there's no reason not to.
Yeah, exactly. You're already have an audience that's interested in what you're talking about, so
Hmm.
might as well.
Yeah.
Um, might as well bring it out. Awesome. What is your favorite movie or TV show?
Mine is The Prestige from a long time ago.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, I really like it just because it really was one of the last movies I watched that kind of surprised me halfway through, and then it surprised me a couple more times until the ending, which was rather striking. And if a movie can do that, I'm pretty happy about it. The problem is, after that movie, I think it was after that movie, I went to game art and design school. And
Mhm.
so now, like, I know what to expect with movies and story, like, because I took all the advanced creative writing courses that I could. I maxed out my creative writing.
Yeah.
So I learned a lot about, when you watch a movie or read a book, this is how it's going to happen, or this is
Yeah.
how it should happen. So now I
Yeah.
feel like I'm ready for every twist, and I'm always predicting things. And my husband will be like, "Oh, yeah, you predicted that in that show like 6 episodes ago." And I was like, "Yeah, well, if the writer just follows the rules of writing, then,
Yes,
so,
exactly.
but that was a
Have
good
you
one.
ever thought of writing like a short film or?
Yeah, actually, I have a really awesome book idea that I've written 2 full chapters, and
Mhm.
uh, I've written the premise for 22 chapters. It's the full thing. But
Nice.
and I think about it because it would be a very good story to tell. It'd be a very good movie. Um,
Nice.
and it would be, and it's something that I still haven't seen out there yet. So I would love to do that. I have a couple ideas like that, and I write some short stories on the side. I just don't do anything with them.
Nice. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just one
no.
of those other things that I do.
Yeah, no, it's important to have something, because as shooters and as cinematographers, we're always looking for those stories. And I was talking to my friend Diana, and she's like, I want to enter a film festival next year. So she's like, I'm going to write a story, and I think she's written some really cool things, pretty dark ones as well. And we'll see what happens.
That sounds awesome. I would love if you ever want to like collaborate on something like that, and you want
we would
a
love to
story.
collaborate. Yeah, we're all local anyways.
Yeah, totally. And I have a really cool story. I've told it to people, and they really think it's a cool story. They're always asking like, how did you come up with that? That's such a different premise or whatever. And
nice.
I think that it's not like totally crazy out there innovative, because like, you can get a little too weird and like people don't accept it. But it's just a unique story. It's a good story, and I would love to share it.
Awesome. We'd love to talk more about it.
Yeah, it sounds like we're going to collaborate in the future.
Oh yes, something. We are. Oh yes, we are. Okay. What? So you talked about your favorite movie. What movie would you choose if you got to play a character in it? Would it be The Prestige?
I don't think it would be The Prestige. I think I would do a movie based on time travel.
Ooh, I love
probably. What's that one? It's like one of my favorites. I think it's like something about the time traveler. I think that's what it's called.
The time travel, okay.
Where he goes back, this guy goes back in time, and he keeps trying to save his wife for a while, and then it doesn't work for him.
The Time Machine.
Oh, that's what it is, Time Machine. Yeah.
With Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's the one. So I would be him in that movie. I would be a guy, I guess. I'm okay with that. But yeah, I would just travel through time. I loved that movie.
That was really good.
How they depicted time travel and everything, and how he went to a totally different time, and
he just went to the future. He's like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to go to the future.
And they accepted that life was the way it was, the people that he met, and then he saved them like by thinking outside the box. I love that element of it.
Yeah. Guy Pearce. Guy Ritchie.
Yeah, you got it.
Awesome. All right. So Amanda's going to be Guy Ritchie, the scientist and inventor.
That's right.
To time travel.
A major physicist.
Yes.
Physics was always something I really loved. So
physics was amazing.
Yeah, it's funny because I wasn't really that big into math, but as soon as I took physics, I was like, man, like this stuff totally is different. So interesting.
Yeah, it's the application of mathematics, not just plus minus.
Yeah, how does a curve work? How does, and that plays into animation quite a bit, because you need to use squashing a ball and stretching a ball and making a perfect arc and timing and how it goes faster and then slower, and it's very interesting. So.
It is. It's really cool. All right, so who is your favorite superhero?
Superhero. Oh, man, I'm gonna go with Deadpool. Actually, it's not even Deadpool. It's probably like that girl who's in the latest Deadpool movie, and she has the skill of luck, because he keeps telling her luck is not a skill, but she has like the craziest luck that makes her survive and everything, and so she's my favorite. I don't know who she is, but
Lucky Strike, is it?
Oh, is that her name? Something? Yeah, she's awesome. She's awesome. She's got that awesome skill. It's going for her.
Nice. I like it. All right. Last question. If you were a board game, what would it be?
Ooh, board game. I like kind of like more complex board games. Like, but which one would I actually be? I think I'm going to pick a card game, which is Flux. It was actually created by a couple of people who I think live in DC, or the DC metro region at least.
Okay.
And they quit their jobs, I think at NASA, to do this, or at least one of them worked there or something, to make games, and they've become wildly successful. But Flux, I choose that because it's an ever-evolving game.
Oh, that's cool.
And the rules change as you play the game, so that's what I really like.
Nice. Is it FLUXX?
Yep, that's it.
Nice.
Yeah, they've
This is
come out
really
with a
cool. This
bunch of
looks really
versions
cool.
now. Yeah, it's a fun little family game.
There's one with Marvel Flux game.
Oh, okay. I know one time as a gift, someone gave me Flux for pirates, pirate Flux. One of the rules was you had to like say "arg," and I was like, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
I had to stick to the regular one.
That's really cool. I'll have to check it out. Awesome. Well, the last question is, where can my audience find you?
Oh, okay. So I'm Artist A Parker on Instagram, which is Artista Parker. I actually get a lot of Spanish followers because of that. And I didn't even realize at the time I was just putting Artist A Parker.
Yeah.
I'm also on ArtistAmandaParker.com.
Okay.
And you can follow me on Facebook at facebook.com/ArtistAmandaParker.
Fantastic.
And I think on Twitter is at Artist A Parker, but mostly I'm on Facebook and Instagram. I don't really, and then I'm on YouTube as well as Artist A Parker.
Awesome. I'll be sure to include all of these cool links to the show notes so people can get to you and look at your drawings and all the crazy stuff you're doing on there.
Okay, great. I have one last question for you.
Absolutely.
So what do you think about Instagram as far as like on my Instagram page, I have ink drawings and things like that, but we were talking about this kind of lack of focus. And sometimes in my story, you get like comedy and stuff like that. You get like the fun side of me. But do you think
when you say story, is that Instagram story?
Yeah, the Instagram stories. Yeah.
Okay.
So do you think I should add more of that personal side of me to my Instagram page? Or just kind of keep going with just the ink drawings and not really anything about myself.
Well, there's two things you could do, right? So on your Instagram, you're bringing people in based on what you're doing and what you're offering. So if you're converting these ink drawings into artwork that people can buy, so focus on bringing those, and then in your IGTV is where you can have your comedy.
Yeah,
while you're drawing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to just implement more video because I think that people are really going toward the video lately.
Oh my God, video is gonna blow.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Blowing up. Oh my God.
And we're kind of on the cutting edge of that. I mean,
we are.
In the past like few years, they've really started hitting video hard. And if you make a video on Instagram, it's going to get a lot more views than just a static photo.
Just a static photo. Yeah, because there's motion. It's more than one photo.
Right.
It's 1,000 photo. And wait, so we have 30 seconds. No, they give you a 30 seconds video, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 30 seconds, and in 30 seconds you can have 30. In 1 second you can have 30 frames. So that's 30 times 30. That's a lot of photos.
Yeah, it's true.
That's like 1,000 photos in one video. Yeah, so that's really good. And just yesterday, Apple announced a new iPhone 11 Pro, and with it, Filmic Pro, which is a film shooting app for the iPhone, mentioned that you can now shoot with all 4 video cameras at the same time.
Oh, that's cool.
On their phone. So if you're doing like a video, like you have 2 people playing instruments, you can or if you're doing an interview, you can just set your phone in the middle, both look at the camera, and voila, you don't need 2 cameras anymore.
That's great.
It's blowing everybody's mind right now. So everybody's like, holy smokes, where did this come from?
You definitely have to take advantage of these advancements as they happen. If you can be one of the first people, it gives you an edge.
Yeah.
But so you think that for the Instagram page, like as long as I personalize the video, like the IGTV videos, and
and then that would be enough. And then what I also noticed is that you can have the IGTV video playing. Like they let you make a post of that IGTV video,
right?
So then they'll take you to the IGTV to do that too.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Because it's because you have ink photos, then you have ink drawings as you're drawing. So that becomes the focus point that everybody's looking at.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear your take on that. I like to ask people like what they think, about
Cool.
that.
Well, I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you.
I need to get better on that myself.
Yeah, I just need to get better at consistency. Just sticking
Yes.
with the focus. I've had a kind of a rough summer, so now that I'm like more back into it, I have more time. I can
Awesome.
really focus on everything again, and I need to just do it.
Just make it happen.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Amanda, this was really nice talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. Have a
You're
good
welcome. And thank you again.
You're
Take
welcome.
care.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the episode. Thanks so much for listening to our guest on this episode. Please send me an email at junaid@hacksandhobbies.com to tell me what you loved about our guest today. You could find links mentioned in this episode on the hacksandhobbies.com website.